All right, let's get this mess. It says I'm live, but I don't believe it. This is my third and final attempt. What happens? What happens now? Tell me. Okay. Let me. There's too hot diggity dog. There's people here. Guys, I've been working on this, talking myself away, and nobody's been there. So we finally got some people. Hello, everybody. Railroad Preserver 2000. I'm doing good into the YouTube zone. Hey there, Jackie. Good morning. Craig, good morning. Railroad Preserver. Annie, Elizabeth Martinez, and Sean. Hi, y'all. Listen, I figured Camo Dave should not be, him and Mark Jones should not be the only people that has puppets. So, I've got puppets. The Lizard Man. Hello, everybody. But I don't leave it at that. I look at it this way. If you're going to have puppets, then you've got to have puppets. Right. Henrietta. Hi, y'all. How are y'all today? Just sitting here on a little eggs this morning. Is that a South Carolina Lizard Man? Yeah, that's a South Carolina Lizard Man. Oh, God, no. But it don't stop there. No, it don't stop there. You know what they say? But wait. There's more. Hey, y'all. How are y'all? I'll just lizard lick toeing. Hey, Yankee in the South. So good to see you today. How are y'all? And it don't end there. All these YouTubers with puppets. We can play with. Y'all want to play with my nut? Hey, you know what they say? That's entertainment. Now, I didn't go out and buy all those toys just so I could compete with Mark Jones and Camo Dave. I have grandchildren, and I do the puppets with them when they come over to visit. Let me look at the stream here and see what I miss. Is that yes, South Carolina Lizard Man, Lizard Lick. Hey, Yankee in the South, Craig, Gerald Farms, Jackie Gooday. Oh no, Carolina Tony has lost it. No, not yet. But I'll show you something else. Okay, I found this here while I was out walking in the woods. And, if you're going to be successful in YouTube, you got to pull out all the stops.
Think carefully before you wish.
And I have thought about it long and hard. I tell you, I bought that last year at Lowe's. And I bought it. It's got the sound out on TV. I bought this at Lowe's last year around Halloween for my granddaughter. Now, my granddaughter, she just turned 7, but she's convinced that I'm the best magician there ever was. And when I pick this up and tell her I'm going to turn her into something, she starts squealing. But it's kind of cool. Check it out.
Every wish has a consequence. Wish wisely.
That is so cool. Barbara Eden will pop out, keep rubbing. I rubbed that thing. I rubbed the paint off of it. Looks like Dave. Barbara Eden pop out. I've been to Ruby Falls. Okay, yeah, I said that, today we were going to do a weekend review. I did, of course, want to talk about some of my videos that I put out this past week. And if you haven't seen them, I encourage you to go check them out. This past Monday, I did and I can't even pronounce it, Pexio's American Dime Museum. This place was in Augusta, Georgia, and we were on our way to Birmingham, and I Googled it. It says they were open, but we stopped by there and they were closed, and I talked to the guy, and he said, no, we're normally open on the weekend. So on my way back through, we actually went, and my wife said, I'm not going in. After she saw the video, she said she's glad she didn't go, because she's not into real creepy stuff. But the guy that owns this place was telling us this is one of the last dime museums left in the nation. There was one in Gettysburg that the Carpetbagger actually did a video on a while back, but they've closed down. And but it was really cool. There was a lot of weird stuff in there, and the guy explained to us what dime museums were. It was a form of entertainment back in the mid 1800s, where people would pay a dime to get inside to see a freak or some kind of oddity. Once they got inside, they would see that, and they said, this is all we get to see for a dime. And they said, well, wait, there's more. And normally there would be more, but you would have to pay more to see it. So that's where they got the term nickeling and diming you to death from. Shoot, I'm going to put the glasses back on. It works a whole lot better. Hey, Ox, good morning. And Jackie, the way it looks here in Cheraw, it looks like it's going to pour down rain any minute. But if it rains up that way, do they race in the mud? That should be a hoot. Uploaded a video a few minutes ago. Remains of an old switch engine. Oh, cool. But yeah, that place was really, really cool. We had a lot of weird stuff in it. A dolphin fish with a man's face on it. And as that man told us, you know, a lot of folks would be all ticked off when they got inside and said, oh, this is fake. And he said, no, it was the truth, because this thing actually was alive at one time, but not in the form that you're seeing it now. So when they take something and two animals and put them together, make another animal, or sew an extra head on or extra foot, it was real, but it just didn't look like that when it was alive. And of course, that was cool. I enjoyed it. I don't know if y'all like those kind of things. I like anything different. Some places, for some stupid reason, I'll go to in the daytime, but I'm not going at night. And I don't know, maybe it's some kind of phobia I have. I went, probably y'all have heard me tell this story about, I went to a haunted house, and it was real. They had possessed items, so they say, in this house in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I was the only person on the tour. This lady in black led me on the tour, and she started telling these stories about all these creepy things that were in there. And I got freaked out, and I told her, hey, thank you very much, but I'm feeling very uncomfortable. I'm going to leave. Those ghosts are real. Let me look back over here, text, the chat. We used to have sideshows. On the carnival. Yeah, I remember back when I was a teenager going to the Eastern Carolina Fair in Florence, which was a regional fair, and a little bigger than a carnival. But I remember they had sideshows with freaks and stuff. And I remember going into one, and I don't even remember how much it cost to get in, but the barker outside, you know, that's the guy that said, y'all come on in and pay your money. I'll show you this and I'll show you that, was the effects of LSD. And this would have been back in the mid 60s. And it was the effects of LSD. So you went through into this tent, opened the curtain, and there was a little 2-foot wall, and sitting in the middle of the curtain, there was this girl just sitting down on the ground, and she was just kind of like this right here. Like she was just spaced out. And Of course, that's kind of the norm now. The McBee Farm Museum was awesome. Yeah, my Wednesday video was the Tractor Palooza. And, I try to be creative when I come up with the names, and hopefully to catch somebody's eye and make it, what's this all about? But McBee is a little town near where I live, very small town, one stoplight, probably two places to eat in the whole town. And but on the outside of the farm, the whole town, all surrounding it, is owned by McLeod Farms, and they are real big on peaches. Probably, maybe one of the biggest peach producers in the state, if not pretty close. I think upstate there's some more, but anyway, they have a couple roadside stands where they sell preserves and things, but they have their main place. They have a restaurant, and they have a place where they sell all kinds of vegetables and stuff. Well, there's a big old barn there, and in that barn and outside the barn, there's like tractors from the beginning on up to now. And some of the tractors that are used in the peach business here in Mullins, South Carolina, there's a bed and breakfast. They named Webster Manor. Yeah, I know where Webster Manor is. You stay there and eat there. Tell me how food. I've never eaten there. I rode by it. I'll definitely. I have to check that out someday though, because when we go to the beach, we go through Mullins. But inside the museum at McLeod Farm, inside the barn at McLeod Farms, there's just all kinds of old farm implements. Just things that would have been used back during the probably late 1800s, early 1900s, and I love that kind of stuff. It was you went into the Tube Zone. I went to the sideshow once. It was 5 cents to go see the man eating chicken, and whenever there's a big guy eating a plate full of chicken. Yeah, outside the Comedy Barn in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, there's a little building. It looks kind of like an outhouse, and it's got a circle in it about that big around. And on the outside, it says "Man Eating Chicken." It is free. And when you look in there, it's just a big old. It's a big old guy eating chicken. But that's true. It was a man eating chicken. They wasn't lying to you, were they? The food was worth. Tell them the donation. The food is worth it. Tell them that Donald sent you. I know that you're talking about. Railroad Preserver, the place in Mullins. Do they also have cooking classes? I was trying to remember if it was in Mullins or Latta that there was a restaurant, and they will have people that will come stay the weekend there, and they have cooking classes. We had a snake with a woman's head, a boy who turned into a werewolf, and 3 others. And at midnight, they opened a hoochie coochie show with dancing girls. Wow. That was back in the days. That was back in the day. Isn't it amazing that the things that we saw 30, 40, 50 years ago, and nobody ever thought twice about it, today people be run out of town on a rail for doing that, or even saying some of the things they used to. Where are you located, Rebels? No, sir, they don't have classes. Okay. Must be another place up that way, though, because couple that I went to church with, they went up there somewhere and spent the weekend, took cooking classes, and then came back and cooked for a group of us. Yes, it's a dime business anymore. The that dime museum that I went to, I didn't get to talk to the man that ran it. There was another couple there, and it was apparent they'd never met this guy before, but they kind of wanted to be the center of attention. They kept talking to him, so I couldn't ask any questions. But this guy was he was kind of a character himself. He had his nose pierced here on the side, so if you stood sideways, you could see through his nose, and his earlobes were all kinds of rings in his bottom lip, and tattoos all everywhere. And he had a Yosemite Sam mustache. And I thought that thing was about that big around, and it came out like that and went around. And he had like a paisley vest on, so he was kind of dressed up like a circus freak would look. But I guess he's living a life, you know. I drove a truck in South Carolina when I was a youngin', and there was a cat house on every highway. Yeah, true. Especially over in Marlboro County on Highway 401 between Darlington and Bennettsville, there were several. I remember when I first started doing heating and air, I was sent to work on the drink box at one of these houses of ill repute. And I hadn't been married in about 6 months. And that's the first time I'd ever been in one of those things. And I went in to work on the drink box, and I was sitting on the floor, and these people that worked there were scantily clothed. To me, it was kind of embarrassing. I tried not to look. Place in New York City still has lots of old freak shows. Well, hey, you know, they've got to work too. The movie that came out about P.T. Barnum, what was the name of that movie? Good gracious. I saw it. I just thought it was so cool. But it caused me to go read a lot about P.T. Barnum, which I thought was really interesting. He was really an innovator when it comes to offbeat entertainment. 3 weeks to fix that drink box. No, I did it and got out. The Greatest Showman. BTW. Okay, I got you. Yeah, The Greatest Showman. Yeah, I love that movie. I've seen some parodies that's done with that movie where they use the music and do different situations. Is really cool. Yeah, PT was a smart man. But talking about the Tractor Museum, there was just some cool things in there. And golly, I bet you there were 100 people in the parking lot, because that's one of the ways to Myrtle Beach that people will go through there. And there were people just stopped, and they were getting peaches and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, and of course, getting back to the video that I did Friday. Ruby Falls. Any of y'all ever been to Ruby Falls? In Chattanooga, Tennessee. Most YouTubers learn their best move from P.T. Barnum. Yeah. Come on, come on. Yeah, we went to Birmingham, Alabama. My daughter graduated from college there for the 4th time. She is now a nurse practitioner. But we went to see that, and then that Saturday we left and went to Lookout Mountain, Ruby Falls, Chattanooga area, primarily because I wanted to go to a wrecker and recovery museum that's only open on Saturdays. And my wife, she wasn't too crazy about it, but she humored me. And so we went to see that. Move this light a little bit, see if that helps. A little bit. Is this? Let me cut it off. How's that? Does that need better? The shine in my eyes makes it blind. But yeah, we went to Ruby Falls, and man, it was hot. I mean, up on that mountain, and it was just humid. And this is a lot of folks, I don't know if they know, but in the South, when it's 90 degrees, it can't be 90 degrees unless it's 80% humidity, and that makes it feel like 200. And we got a ticket to go into this thing, and it was like 45-minute wait, and the line was crazy. Stand in line to get into this thing, and you have to ride an elevator down into the mountain because you go in, I guess, probably about midway. And so you get an elevator, you go down like 27 stories down into the bowels of the earth. Nobody ever lost $1 by underestimating the taste of America public. Yeah, that's true. But you get down there, and only so many people can get on this little elevator. And then you have to wait for everybody else in the tour to get down there. And there's probably about 40 to 50 people on the tour. And little paths through the caves are kind of narrow. If you go, you just need to go with the mindset that this is going to be 2 hours. When I'm filming, I love to do things on my own pace. So if there's something that's interesting, I can spend more time there, and something that I'm not into, I can, not take as much time. But with this, you just have to go through. But yeah, it was beautiful. Every cave I have ever been in, and I have been in caves all over the place. I've been in caves out towards the Mississippi. I've been in the caves up north. I've been to caves down south. Caves everywhere. And every tour that you go on, you'll have this guy with a stick, and he'll say, over here, you have this. This is what we call our slab of bacon. And there'll be a rock with some kind of calcium that's growing over it that makes it look like fat and it's wet looking. Over here, we call this our hind end of a donkey. And it'll be a rock that looks like the hind end of a donkey. And I kind of think they maybe pass these names around, that they go in and they try to find things that look like things that are not really there. It's like when I look at the clouds, I look up in the sky and I say, hey, they look like clouds. I don't waste my time trying to turn them into shapes unless they really look like something. Okay, let me get back to the chat here. I've seen pretty much everything in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I bet you seen Chattanooga Choo Choo. I missed it. But I'll catch it on the next trip. I stay out of caves. If they're going to cave in, it will be if I am in it. Well, hey, it would be a cheap funeral. Or probably they spend $50 million trying to get you out and then send the bill to your family. If you get a chance around Edisto Beach, it's one of the few beaches, one of the few beach towns where all the businesses are locally owned. I'm trying to think if I've been to Edisto Beach. That's down between Georgetown and Charleston, isn't it? Or is it past Charleston? I stayed a few times, loved it. If you get a chance, I read some reviews about the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel, and the reviews weren't too good on it. And actually, that's why I didn't book a room there. They were talking about how it was outdated, how it had a bad smell. Cure Beach, North Carolina is all local. Yeah, I've been there. I've actually stayed there. My wife had a aunt that had a place in Holden Beach, which is not far from there. It's about 30 miles from Charleston. Yeah, I thought so. I had some friends that used to go there. When we go to the beach, we normally go to Cherry Grove, uh, Myrtle, which is north of Myrtle Beach, right on the North Carolina line. So, kind of a family beach, real quiet. Even if you don't get to stay, it's worth a visit because it's really pretty. Yeah, yeah. I like the way some things looks that used to look. Railroad Observer. Have you been to Hamlet, North Carolina? Their depot has been restored to look pretty much like it did back in the early 1900s. Have I been to Athens, Georgia? No, I haven't. Been all around it. Never have though. I've been a motorcycle ride through some of the towns up in the Georgia area, and you get off the interstate, some beautiful, tightly, beautiful small towns that kind of look like they did back in the, when I say back in the day, back when things were more simple, when time was a lot slower, where we watched things like Leave It to Beaver, Dennis the Menace, the Donna Reed Show, Father Knows Best. Back Lucy and Ricky, where they slept in separate beds because you just couldn't do that on TV. Things were a lot simpler back then. Now everything's fast paced, computerized, and I'll tell you, things like telephones, tablets, PCs, gonna be the death of me. Nikki Forsee, hello there. Have I been to the Biltmore Estate? Yes, several times. You do not go to the Biltmore Estate without a pocket full of money. But rightly so. It takes a lot of money to keep that place up. Mayberry, yeah, I've been to Mount Airy, North Carolina. In fact, I believe Mayberry days are fixing to come up here soon. And they have a big parade, and they have lookalikes for people like Don Knox, Goober, and all of those fellas. And I've got a video that I did of Mount Airy. I rode in the police car, went on a tour. The really neat thing about it, when I went on the tour of Mayberry in the squad car, the guy that was my driver, I was the only one in there. He was my driver. I was telling him about doing YouTube video. And then he started telling me a story about Adam DeWoo. And that Adam DeWoo had went up there, and he met him, and Adam was telling him about his channel. And later in the week or whatever, he had went to some kind of function. The squad car driver went to a function, and someone had mentioned Adam to him. Said, "You don't know who he is, do you?" He's like, "He's famous." So I thought it was pretty cool. So I had Adam DeWoo's personal tour guide when I went to Mount Airy. Madison, Georgia is a pretty town. I've actually been to Madison. It's been back in, I guess, maybe April. My wife and I both were going to Atlanta. She had business there that week. I was just going to stay there with her one night, and then I took off and went into Alabama and the rest of Georgia. And I was on a motorcycle, and I got off the interstate because I'd rather ride the back roads, and I went through Madison. That is a beautiful town. It's just like, almost like it's stopped in time. That's the neat thing that I like about traveling on a motorcycle, is when you're out riding around on a motorcycle, you kind of want to slow down, kind of stop and smell roses. And I like to ride the back roads and go through the small towns. And like up in northern Pennsylvania, there is a parkway that runs across the top of northern Pennsylvania, and it goes through all these little small towns. And some of these towns, they don't even have Walmarts. I mean, can you believe that? A town that don't even have a Walmart. And you don't see Hardee's and McDonald's. The restaurant, only restaurants they have are little mom and pop restaurants. But I just thought that was just so cool. It's like riding through the 50s. Where haven't I been? You know, I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I take opportunities. I'm an air conditioning contractor, a real small business. When things are kind of slow, I've got a fellow that works for me that will kind of hold the fort down and take care of service calls. And I'll take off for a few days on the motorcycle or the truck or the Jeep and just check out everything in the area. Well, my wife, she's a HR director at a can plant, and she has to go off several times a year on business trips. And a lot of times I'll go with her. And while she's in meetings all week, I will go out and explore. And I get on the internet and read books to see what's interesting in the area. And so I'm always looking for neat places, things that maybe others hadn't seen. Of course, two of my favorite YouTubers, the Carpetbagger and Adam DeWoo, they've been everywhere. And a lot of places I've been, they have too. But believe it or not, I've been to some places they hadn't. Let me tell you, the best thing to do when you're traveling to a place is always eat local food because it makes the experience all. It really does. Mom and Dom's, remember the time I met you at Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Try them again. K Dawn. Yes, I do. That's when we did the meetup thing, right? I did not realize that meetup was going on for 2 or 3 days. I just thought it was there under the picnic shelter, and that was the end of it. If not, I'd have made plans to stay a lot longer. For some of you guys that don't know, back here in July, I think it was around the middle of July, there was a YouTube creator meetup in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And apparently they do this every year. And I went, was a part of it, met some great YouTubers. Had a little picnic under a shelter and just a lot of talking. But I found out later that they stayed and they had a banquet room that they went to with meetings and giving away awards and all. And I wish I could have got in on that because I'd love to be able to get around other creators and share ideas and, get tips from each other. What works for you, what the best thing to do. I've talked to folks that make videos about cameras. I used to be all consumed with what's the best camera to get. And then I've watched some videos by some creators, and that's a good camera. Samsung 9 Plus makes great videos. I don't use it a whole lot except when I'm in the dark. I've got a GoPro Hero 7 that I use when I'm on the motorcycle. And my Sony, what is this Sony? I don't have to look and see. HX80. I use that a lot. That's my primary camera. It's lightweight. You stick it in your pocket and put it on a tripod. And so it's real flexible. And I enjoy that. I have a Nikon D5200. It's a big, heavy camera. And then I've got a little small camcorder. I don't use those too much anymore. I did in the beginning. But, to sit there and try to get the film and all just perfect, or, the colors just perfect, You know, most of the time, the best thing to do is, you know, film with the sun in your eyes. No, is that right? Sun to your back. Yeah, sun to your back. So you're not filming into the sun. That's right. Let's see. You're in one of my videos from the meetup. I did some filming at the meetup, but I was going to do a video with it, but I couldn't really figure out how to put it together because I didn't get enough stuff to really put together a story. And I like, when I do videos, I like to do some type of story. A good example is Black Mountain, North Carolina. I have a restaurant called Foothills, and they had the best trout you ever eat. It's called a Blue Plate Special. And I've eaten in Black Mountain several places. I don't know if that's one of them. Wife is home. Got to go. Take care, Tony. Peace. Okay, Ox, you have a good weekend. My wife's gone for a few hours, so I'll cut loose here in a little bit. Real Reserve, BTY. I'm in my last year at high school. Cool. Well, don't let that be your last year earning. Let's see. Next year is in Vegas about the same time like in July. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, do that. I have to play that one slick because my wife told me, she said, don't plan on go flying off anywhere YouTubing, because until YouTube starts sending you a check, you're not flying off anywhere. So if we're on a vacation, you know, that don't count. Railroad Observer, I use mostly my phone and 2 Canon cameras for film and photography. One's a Rebel and the other's a PowerShot. Yeah, the PowerShot is kind of similar to the Sony GX80. Anyway, the Ruby Falls thing. We were talking about the Ruby Falls video and kind of got sidetracked. When you got down there, did y'all hear that? Listen, I need to show you somebody. Hang on. Look, this is Toby. Say hey, Toby. Yeah, Toby is my next door neighbor's dog, but he loves to come hang out with me. And you can tell Toby missed a good opportunity to be a cat. He won't come when you call him, and all he wants to do is lay around. And look, he's about to fall asleep now. Put him back under the covers. Yeah, Toby's probably sleepy because he's been out catting around all night. Okay, let me get back over here to the chat. Yep, next year in Vegas. You mentioned with 2 Canon here. We had a dog named Toby. He was sleeping well, the neighbor's dog. Yeah, I used to have Dalmatians, and both of them have passed away, and they stayed here in the house with us. And that's, someone mentioned my bedspread there, and even though Molly's been dead probably 4 years now, I won't get rid of that bedspread because she used to sleep on it. And that was a real hard thing. And it's still hard. There, in fact, if you see her, there's Molly right there. That was her looking out the window here in the house. We moved in 2011, and she used to go to the window and put her nose on the glass there. Anyway, getting back, I get sidetracked real easy. It's like getting off the interstate on an off ramp and you can't find your way back on. I'm in my first year of college. I'm 38 years old. I decided to get busy again. Thought I'd get more education. My wife graduated college when she was 40 years old. She had 2 years of college when we got married back in 1976. And then she graduated the same year that my son did. My son graduated high school. She graduated college. And it's paid off because she makes more money now. Yeah, these people that go to college and they take, I guess you do what you do, but some of the majors that you take when you're in college, and I'm thinking, what in the world? How are these people gonna get a job? My daughter, when she first started college, she wanted to be a nurse. My son's a nurse, and she wanted to be a nurse as well. And her first semester, she took it, and she said, "This is hard." Her second semester, she could not pass anatomy, and my theory in that, of course, back then she didn't believe it, but my theory was she was interested in this boy, and that prevented her from thinking clearly. So she decided, well, I can't pass anatomy. I am going to change my major. So she changed her major, and she graduated from the University of South Carolina in Columbia with a degree in hotel, restaurant, and tourism management. And I told her, I said, "What are you going to do with that?" She said, "I'm going to plan parties and I'm going to plan weddings." And I said, "Yeah, people waiting for people to get out of college so they can hire them to do that. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's doing it." Well, she got a job at a resort. She worked an internship there that summer. They hired her right on to be their event coordinator manager, place at the beach, a big resort down there. Top pay on it was like $35,000 a year, and that's not enough money to keep my daughter comfortable. She wasn't raised that way, but she's a little different. Needs more money. She did it for several months, and she said, "I ain't cutting it." So she went back to nursing school. By this time, she had got rid of the boyfriend, so she graduated nursing school with a 4.0. See what roadblocks can cause problems. And so she graduated that, and she worked in nursing, and she got some extra special training while she was in nursing. And then she went back to college after she got married and got her degree in nursing and did that for a while. And she decided that she wanted to take it on a little farther. So she just finished up as in a whatever you call it. I'm sure it's got another name, but degree, her master's as a nurse practitioner. But she doesn't want to work all the time, just part-time. Let's see. Get back to what my chats are. One of the dogs we have now is a Doberman named Thor. I could see a Doberman named Thor. We got him years. We lost our Labrador named Oscar to cancer, 9 years and 4 months. That's why Molly died, was cancer. Some people are better at some judges than others. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I was talking about these majors. Yeah, some of these folks that graduate college and major in making animals out of paper. I'm just some silly things out there. I'm thinking, with that and $1.25, you can buy a drink. When we went to the graduation at UAB, it was only for nursing and PhDs, and there were a lot of folks there. And what was really amazing to me is that all these guys and gals that were graduating with PhDs, they would bring them up on the stage and kneel them down and put a hood over their head. And then there would be a sponsor behind them, and they'll say something like, Carolina Tony, sponsored by Professor Dr. Zhivago, with his thesis in railroad preservation in the mid-16th century by Mongolian monks. And I'm thinking, and I'm not making this stuff up. I just made that up, but some of them were just so wacky papers that these people came up with. The effects of obesity in starving New Guinea monkeys. I mean, stuff like that. I'm thinking, good grannies. I guess they'll write a book on it someday. Railroads are probably not going to college. I'm probably going to head to tech school to see if I can get a better photography, and that way you can travel and see places. Railroad Observer, I thought that you would go to perhaps somewhere so you could work on the railroad. Couldn't you see yourself as a conductor? And folks that are into trains, the ones that I know are into trains big time. That's not something that you get into lightly. It's something that when you get into it, you've got a passion and you get in deep. Now, I love trains, but I love planes and everything else. But I've got some friends, and when they're into trains, they're in deep. I mean, and they've been everywhere. And I've seen a lot of Railroad Observer 2000 stuff. That boy loves trains, and he really gets in, and he's been everywhere. So y'all, if y'all like trains, you go check him out. He'll show you some things. Well, guys, I am fixing to sign off here in just a second or two. I want to thank y'all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I've got a video that's coming up next week. I had decided if I wanted to do it on Monday or Friday. It's going to kind of be gross. I want to give you a warning right now that you probably want to eat breakfast before you watch it. It's a place I found at the beach. It's an exhibit where they have taken human cadavers and removed all of the liquid in them and replaced it with plastic and resins. It's called plasticization, and they're in this museum. They have parts of their skulls removed so you can see inside, parts of their arms cut open so you can see the veins and arteries, and they have all that colored so you can distinguish the difference. And it is, hey, Cousin Renee, good to see you. I have to say that I love all the places you've been and the history behind all these places. Keep up the good work. And I'm gonna have to get out to Denver and do some stuff out there too. But yeah, this place is really creepy. I was gonna show you. Let's see if I can bring it up. I did take a photo while I was in there. Let's see if does that show up. Yeah, look. Let's see. There you go. That once was a living, breathing human being. And but it's the whole purpose of it is to study anatomy, how human beings work. And it was pretty interesting, pretty creepy. Brian, good to meet you. Have a really good weekend. It's good to meet you too. Samantha, I love your gross museum trips. Well, I'm glad somebody does. I look for the strange, the bizarre things that a lot of people don't get a chance to see. And, you know, that's part of why I do what I do, because I'm sure maybe some of you are. I know a lot of folks, they'll ride by for years and wonder what's inside there and never stop and take the time to go in and explore and see what's in there. And there's a lot of stuff in there. I really envy the folks that can get all this information and they pertain it. and they remember, names and places and dates. I'm not good at that. But it's what they say. Not all museums has a lot of good stuff in it, but all museums have got at least one good story. If if you dig deep enough. Anyway, I'm chit chatting, guys. I got to go. I've been refinishing a bonus, or I have been working on our bonus room, trying to get it finished after about 5 years, and I am trying to get the floor down. And I'm going to sign off here. If you get up to Durango, then you need to look for Durango and Silver Railroads. Okay, guys, I'm fixing to sign off here. Railroad Preserver, Nikki 4C, K Dog, Renee, Samantha, Bryn, Jackie. Y'all all have a great weekend, and hopefully we can do it and get around the storm. But for now, and as always, y'all have a good day.